Mike and Ellie from Hitching Farm Working Horses, and welcome back.
And today we're going to do a bit of market gardening.
So we're going to show you how to turn a field into a functional vegetable patch using only the horses.
And if you like match ploughing and straight lines, look away now.
So the first thing we're going to look at is ploughing. This is using the horses to turn over the soil and bury any grass so that you can prepare a seed bed. We have a couple of different types of plough on the farm. We've got an Amish framed ride-on plough and a range of traditional English walking ploughs. And we'll have a quick look at them both now so you can understand the differences.
So this is the Amish ride-on plough. This is a framed sulky plough. So I'm just going to talk you through how it works. So the horses steer it with the pole up front here. Now if you get any kinks in your ploughing, like we do, what you do is you can actually get extra steering from this handle here, and you can actually move your furrow wheel left and right, and you can take a little bit more furrow or a little bit less, and that means that you can take your kink out. This here is your foot pedal, so this actually raises up your plough out of the ground, so you don't have to get off and lift your plough up or sit on the handles or anything like that. It's all done with the foot operated system there. And then here we've got depth gauges, and this really helps if you're ploughing on a slight bank like we have out there. You can adjust it accordingly, so we can drop it down and then raise it back up. So that's how you get the right depth on your plough. So this plough is designed to sit at 6 inches of depth, and then it cuts 12 inches wide. So this is a knife coulter, or a disc coulter. So this is what's going to cut your turf. Then this is your moldboard, and this is a shear point.
We used to do about 2 acres of vegetables every year with our ride-on plough. This year though we're only doing a small patch as we're just finding our feet with the new farm. And this is baby Oscar gaining some experience with the plough. He's now fully grown and is actually working on the plough himself, which is a really nice thing.
So this is your moldboard. This bit is your skim. This is going to push the very corner of your turf over so you don't have any grass showing. Everything's got to be buried because otherwise it'll just regenerate and come back up again. And that's a really nice moldboard. It's nice and long, so it turns it over, because our ground has got a little bit of clay in it, so if you turn it over nice and slowly it doesn't break the turf. Right, so this is a high cut walking plough. This is what a lot of people use to do match ploughing with in the UK. You can see it's got a massively long moldboard on it. And we've got a different shear here. The shear's slightly different. These are all cast iron, and they've all got different numbers on them, and the numbers relate to how much arch or points there is on the shear. And that really is for different ground and different types of grounds, and certain curves and that will work better in ground that's got more stone in it or less stone in it. With the ride-on plough, I really should have said that there's a lot more tolerance in it. So really, as long as you get that moldboard in the ground, it'll do a really good job. These are really fussy, and what the old boys always say is, if you're not singing, you're not ploughing, and what it relates to is that moldboard, as it comes through the ground, should be humming. And if it's not humming, then you're not ploughing properly, and it'll literally alter sometimes in a matter of hours. Even if you're in the same field, it may have dried out a little bit or got a little bit too wet, and all of a sudden your ploughing won't go quite right, whereas that plough will just keep on going. We do a lot of work with horses, and I've never been able to do an acre a day with a pair of horses in this, whereas that, with a 6-horse team, we can easily do 2.5 acres. So that's the difference really. And this is quite heavy for turning, it can be quite awkward, and if you don't get your turn quite right, it can actually flip you over. Whereas that is just like being on a part of a carriage really, and you can turn it on its own axis and carry on regardless. Personally, I think that this, for me, is the better plough. We bring this out if people want to come on a training course and have a go with one, but I also let them have a go with a ride-on plough and see where we're advancing to.
So here is something really cool that we were able to find when we were ploughing. This is actually a shear off a vintage horse-drawn plough, which means that this patch has actually been ploughed by someone with horses probably about 100 years ago or more. So we're following in someone's footsteps there, which is really cool.
Once the patch has been left for a couple of weeks to let the grass die off, you can roll it. This makes it easier for you and the horses to walk on it in order to cultivate it. We also have several different types of cultivator on the farm. This is a specialist horse-drawn cultivator. This one's actually a tractor cultivator that we pull with a bigger team of horses. In this case we brought in Clover, who's one of our heavy horse mares, to work with a pair of cobs. So the purpose of the cultivators is to break up the block of soil that you created by ploughing and rolling into a light, fluffy seed bed known as a tilth.
Lovely soil, isn't it? It's only just been turned over.
And this is on our previous larger scale patch. This is using a spike harrow. This is several spike harrows together and Mike standing on them to give them more pressure so that they go deeper into the ground. And here is the view from the driver's seat. It's not a particularly good idea to stand on the harrow, so please don't do that at home. But you can see here the work that it is doing, breaking up the ploughing. So the next job is to ridge with the cassine. The cassine is a French tool. It's made for a single horse or a donkey to pull. It's also a multi-tool, which means it has lots of different functions. In this case, we're using the discs to make a raised ridge on which we'll plant the seeds. This was Simon's first ever time at having a go at ridging, so you can see it's not perfectly straight, but it's not too bad either.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Go on, get up.
So there are several benefits to using these ridges. The first is that it's easy to lay an irrigation line along the ridge. The second is that it keeps your plants out of any waterlogging if you do have extreme weather. And the third is that it makes it really easy to hoe in between and you don't have to do any hand weeding. And it's just a case of sowing your seeds in the ridges. We use a Garrett's hoe to hoe in between the lines to make sure there's very little weed cover. And the cassine comes back in to ridge up around the vegetables to cover any weeds there. I don't think there's actually anything more satisfying than eating your own fruit and veg. We also grow a little bit of grain to feed our animals, following much the same method, just without the ridges. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more of what we're up to on the farm.